Hello and welcome back to another episode in the Fighting Fantasy saga, where I, again, will try to tackle this book. This is Freeway Fighter by Ian Livingstone, book number 13 in the Fighting Fantasy game book series, a science fiction book rather than in a fantasy adventure. Um, this is my second time playing it. The first time was very short because I did try to cross a bridge that didn't. It wasn't really meant to be crossed, let's put it like that. Or somebody thought that if somebody tried to cross it, they didn't need the bridge anymore for whatever reason. So that was very short, and I will try again. And I know a few places I'm not going already, and hopefully this time I will be able to find my way at least a little bit further along. So there we are. The story so far. I don't actually need to say the story so far. I'll just start over again because I've only just started. I'm starting over again. I'll get my things ready and I'll be have them all ready on my desk in a few moments. Right, I am back again. I've got my book. I've got pen, pencil, dice. I've got character sheet. I'll just reuse my previous one because I didn't write that much on it. And I've got the map that I started making earlier. So before I do anything else, I'm going to start with my initial abilities. Skill is 6 plus 1 die. That's 8. Stamina, 2 dice plus 24. So that is 5, 29. And luck, 1 die plus 6, 12. At least I'm lucky. The firepower of my car is 10. And the armor of my car is 26. The absolute minimum. There we are. And I've got 10 med packs, I've got 200 credits, 4 missiles, 3 iron spikes, 2 oil canisters, and spare wheels. That's not a good skill. That's going to be terrible. You know what? I'll keep it. And maybe no. No, I'll cheat. I'll re-roll the skill as 12. Just because I want to get a little bit further along, and I'll still be dying probably because I'll end up choosing the wrong path. So there we are. And I will start over again. So I'll just move the character sheet out of the way for now and start with Freeway Fighter. And a cup of tea. I'll not do the introduction. Short story is, it's 21st of July 2022. Basically, the whole world is wiped out by a really fast-acting virus that spreads like wildfire. Most people die. And it's sort of the remaining survivors they distill into people who want to rebuild society and civilization, and those who want to just be barbarians, as it were, who just want to kill and maim and just do for themselves. So you have gangs of bandits, you have groups of good people trying to rebuild the world. You belong to a settlement called New Hope of people who want to rebuild society, and you are given the chance to, you leap at the chance actually when you are asked to volunteer to head for an oil refinery near San Anglo, where you are going to trade 10,000 liters of petrol in exchange for some grain and seeds, of which New Hope at the moment has plenty. So it sounds like a good deal, but it's a very dangerous journey, and you've been outfitted a special Dodge Interceptor with missiles, with machine guns, and it's been armored, and it will at least help you get safely down to San Anglo. Right, so last time I managed to go through a few steps, and I ended up trying to cross a bridge that was not meant for crossing, and it blew up and killed me. So I'm not doing that again. So here we are. I'm going to start on number 1. The first thing to strike you as you cruise along the road is the speed with which everything has fallen into decay. You hadn't realized how much maintenance was needed to support civilization. All around, buildings are falling into ruin, abandoned cars litter the roads in rusted disarray, grass and weeds have grown rampant everywhere, with nobody to hold them back, and packs of dogs and other wild animals roam freely. You stop at a small town, some 15 kilometers from New Hope, and switch off your engine. Suddenly it is deathly silent, apart from the eerie howl of a dog somewhere down the street. You are tempted to get out of the car to explore, but realize this is an unnecessary risk. You're about to start your engine again when suddenly the sound of a shotgun breaks the silence. If you wish to get out of the car to investigate, turn to 126. If you would rather drive out of the town, turn to 34. Now, I did this the first time, and you meet a guy called Johnson, and I don't know if that's significant or not, but I don't seem to gain anything from it, other than it's not dangerous to me to meet him and say that I'm from New Hope. So I'll just keep going this time. I'll just go to 34. He does tell me actually not to stop at Joe's garage. I'm just presuming now that I already know this. So you're soon out of town, zigzagging around wrecked cars and fallen trees along the road. Further ahead, you can see that the road joins the main highway south. There is a small filling station at the junction named Joe's Garage. You stop as you are intrigued by the hot rod parked round the side, looking clean and in running condition. A young girl suddenly comes out of the office, wearing a t-shirt and blue jeans. She smiles and says, "Hi, can I help you?" If you wish to talk to her, turn to 302. If you would rather drive up onto the highway, turn to 167. And I decided to take Johnson's advice and head off on the road and just ignore Joe's garage for now. I'll find out what happens there later. Don't worry about that. So I'm going to 167. Despite the hazard of having to avoid abandoned cars, the highway is wide enough for you to gather plenty of speed. It is exciting to drive so freely without fear of being hauled in by the police for violating some traffic regulation or other. You smile as your speed reaches 190 kilometers per hour, but your joy is short-lived. You suddenly see a red Chevrolet, heavily reinforced with steel plating, coming straight towards you. Somebody is sitting in a small turret on the roof, a machine gunner. You think to yourself that maybe having to deal with the police in the old days wasn't so bad compared with what is coming at you now. You breathe in deeply and get ready to press the machine gun fire button. And we've got our first vehicle combat, a red Chevy, firepower 8, armor 15. And I will run through that. So we've got 815, and mine at the moment is 1229. So I'll just have a sip of tea, as one does before fighting. So the Chevy rolls a 6. I roll a 9, and he loses 5. It's down to 10. He rolls a 7. I roll a 9. He loses another die, so that is down to 7. He rolls a 5. I roll an 8. He loses another d6. He's down to 4. He rolls an 8. I roll a 10. He loses 4, and that car is destroyed. So I turn to 188. You stop your interceptor to examine the burning wreck. Who were these people and why did they attack you without warning? You shake your head and hit the accelerator, eager to reach your destination. You are passing a security truck and thinking about all the money inside it, which is now useless, when suddenly a voice comes through on your radio above the crackling static. It is one of New Hope's leaders. She tells you how a gang of bikers have just attacked New Hope, killing 8 people in the process. After a short battle, they were eventually beaten off. She warns you to be on the lookout for them, as they have kidnapped Sinclair, the council leader. You acknowledge the message and say goodbye. After an hour or so of driving without any further incident, you notice that your petrol gauge is dropping. The interceptor is very heavy on petrol. You stop and pour the contents of the fuel canister into the tank, realizing that you will have to find some more petrol soon. A few kilometers further, and you know your luck has really run out. There must have been a car crash at the time of the disaster, which caused a huge tailback of now abandoned cars. It is impossible to continue along the highway. You reverse back to the last exit and drive off the highway. You must decide which way to head along the road which crosses over it. If you wish to drive east, turn to 341. If you wish to drive west, turn to 66. And, excuse me, I'll just check my text message. Okay. Right, so I'll be back 2 seconds. Just need to reply the text message. Here we are. Sorry about that. Okay. Where was I? Yes. We should drive east, 341, west, 66. Now this is the bit that I've already explored a bit. Maybe I should try going west this time because I haven't been here yet. So I've got a few more places to explore, but I'll start with west. So I'm going to 66. The road heads directly west and you're able to travel along it quickly, as it is relatively free of obstacles. However, your easy drive is short-lived. The road comes to a river, which you used to cross, but the drawbridge, which spans the river, is partly open, stopping you from driving across it. You judge that if you drive over it at about 180 kilometers per hour, the momentum should carry the interceptor across the gap to the far side. But then again, it might not. If we should try to drive across the bridge, turn to 270. If you would rather turn around and drive east, turn to 159. So that is quite a try. So 270. Let's call it jump. Proper Evel Knievel stunt there. And 159. Turn around. I don't know. That sounds risky. Also, that wouldn't be the correct route, would it? Because surely there must be a clearer way to get to where I'm going. I'm going to turn around. I'm not going to risk it now. Before too long, you are back at the bridge which crosses the highway. You continue east along the road, turn to 341. There we are. So, back there. I'll try the jump some other day. You pass an ambulance parked off the road to your right, but see no sign of life. If you wish to stop to investigate the ambulance, turn to 267. If you would rather keep driving east, turn to 22. I think I'll skip the ambulance now. I did get some credits and some and a weapon. I got a knuckle duster out of it last time, but I'm not sure if that's worth it. So I'm going to turn to 22, even though I do have high skill now. I'm not going to risk it. It's a ranged weapon combat as well, a gunfight. You flash past the road sign which shows a turning to the south immediately ahead. If you wish to drive south, turn to 311. If you'd rather keep cruising east, turn to 203. I'm going to try south again, so 311. Oh, hang on. Is that driving back? Ah, okay. Now let's do that just to see if that goes back where I was. A few miles down the road, you come to a small, crudely constructed wooden bridge which crosses a narrow river. There is a sign nailed to the bridge warning you not to cross the river. If you intend to drive across regardless, turn to 229. Do not do that. If you would rather turn around and drive back to the last junction, turn to 124. So I'm going 124. You are soon back at the T-junction and stop to decide which way to head. We should turn right, turn to 203. So that's here. If we would rather turn left to head west, turn to 344. So I've got a 344 as well. So that's west. No, left or turn to, yeah, okay. Right, so that's east or west. I'm going to go east, 203. Seems to be where the game is leading me. The road is open and wrecked cars are an infrequent hazard. The speedometer reads well above the maximum speed limit that used to control the road, but you know that there is no chance of getting a speeding ticket now. Your enjoyment, however, is short-lived. A roadblock of upturned cars and trucks comes into view. Slow down and survey the scene, sensing danger. So, will you fire a rocket at the roadblock? So that's 372 rocket. Try to drive around the roadblock. Round. Turn around and drive back to the last junction to head south. Right, so we have these three options now. And I'm thinking I'm going to use a rocket on this. I mean, I'm sort of sensing ambush here, but if I use a rocket, I might be able to pass by. Reaching forward, you press the rocket launcher button on the control panel. The interceptor shakes as the rocket is fired, and the explosion which follows immediately is loud and blinding. When the smoke clears, you see that the roadblock no longer exists. Suddenly you hear the roar of a motorcycle engine starting up and see two leather-clad armed riders appear from behind a bush and blaze up the road through the hole in the roadblock. The passenger turns and fires a warning shot at you as the bike races away. If you wish to drive after them, turn to 95. If you would rather let them get away, turn to 309. So, let's see, 95, chase, or 309, leave, let's put that. I'm just going to let them get away. I'm going to go to 309. You watch the bike speed away into the distance until it disappears from view. After waiting for a few moments, you set off east once again. You soon come to a signpost which points down a narrow dirt track towards a town called Rockville. If you wish to drive south to Rockville, turn to 157. If you would rather keep heading east, turn to 45. So we've got 157. Rockville sounds like a good place for a music festival. 45, keep going east. I'm going to head down to Rockville and see what's there. And also, I do realize I do need petrol soon. So the dirt track is rough and bumpy, and you realize that people for miles around will see the dust that the speeding interceptor is throwing up. Nevertheless, you are determined to reach Rockville. Suddenly, you see a blinding flash on top of a boulder in the distance. Test your luck. And roll a 10. And I make it, and my luck is now down to 11. So, and that is, so test luck, and then it's 315, unlucky, and 222, lucky. Okay, so I'm lucky, I'll turn to 222. Still doesn't mean everything will go well. Somebody has fired a bazooka at you, but the shell explodes harmlessly a few meters to your left. Turn to 53. So 53, no choices there for a change. Okay. You press down on the accelerator, steering the interceptor towards your attackers, but before you can reach them, they jump onto motorbikes and race off. If you wish to chase after them, turn to 78. If you would rather reverse, drive back to the road and turn right to head east, turn to 45. Okay. So I'm just going to abandon Rockville. It does seem like, I mean, if I'm being attacked here, it might be a bandit stronghold. It may not. I mean, these people might just be hanging around outside Rockville. So I can go to 45. I'm going to chase after them this time because I'm a bit curious about Rockville. The bikes are suited to driving along the dirt track, and you are unable to catch up with them. In the distance, you see a cluster of houses, which must be Rockville. The bikes drive straight towards houses and disappear from view. As you get closer, you hear the sound of gunfire, which seems to be coming from the nearest farmhouse. So, will you fire a rocket at the farmhouse, keep on driving towards the houses, or reverse driving back to the road and turn right to head east? So again, I'm given the option of getting out of here. I'm wondering if that's supposed to be a hint. Or I can fire a rocket at the farmhouse. Or I can keep on driving. 377. Drive. I'm going to keep on driving towards the houses. Is that a good idea? Probably a terrible idea. I'm going to try that. You swerve the car from side to side to make it difficult to aim at, and at the same time return fire with your machine gun. Roll 2 dice. If the total is the same as or less than your skill, it is actually, because my skill is so good, and turn to 338. So skill test and success 338, fail 191. So I'm going to 338. As you close in on the farmhouse, you see another blinding flash. The bazooka is being fired from a top floor window. You swerve violently to the left to avoid the exploding shell. Test your luck. So then it's test luck. And I'll just move up here now. Lucky, unlucky, 320, 105. And my luck is now 11, and I need to roll better than that. My luck is now down to 10. And I am lucky. I go to 320. That doesn't seem like a good idea to be in Rockville, does it? A shell explodes harmlessly some 20 meters behind you, but you know it will not be long before they fire again. What is more, a bullet has punctured one of your front tires, which forces you to stop. If you have a rocket left to fire, turn to 31. If you do not have a rocket left in your armory, turn to 173. Well, I've used one, didn't I? On that roadblock. So this is my lucky one, and then it's rocket question mark. And then I'm doing yes, rockets, 31, no rocket, and 173 are the two options. I do have a rocket, so I'm going to go to 31. The farmhouse is an easy target, so I should have just gone for the farmhouse right away, shouldn't I? Anyway. The farmhouse is an easy target to compute, and you are able to press the fire button in seconds. The rocket does not miss. The explosion destroys the farmhouse, sending fragments of brick and wood flying through the air. You grab the can of flat you fix and repair the puncture. When the dust has settled, you drive cautiously ahead, one finger against the machine gun trigger. You stop alongside the burning farmhouse, but see no signs of life. You turn off the engine and wind down the window of the interceptor. You hear the desperate cry of a man calling for help. If you wish to get out of the car to investigate, turn to 262. If you would rather drive south of town, turn to 353. So I've got the option now. Well, I've used one more rocket, mustn't forget. Only got 2 left now. And I've got, so I'm either going to investigate 262 in investigate, or I'm going 353, 353, head south. Those are my options. I'm going to investigate. You walk over towards the sound of the cry for help and find that it is coming from inside a shack attached to the general store. You ask who is inside the shack. It's Sinclair, New Hope's council leader. Oh. You search around and find an iron bar to prise open the lock on the door. Soon Sinclair is free. Add 1 luck point. Okay, so that was unexpected. So I am up to 11. Sinclair tells you about the raid on New Hope and his kidnapping. He asks you to radio to New Hope to tell them that he will return by motorbike as soon as possible. There are 2 bikes parked in front of the general store, on which he chooses the old Harley Davidson. Thanking you for your help, he waves goodbye and roars off north. Will you search the general store, search the nearest house, and drive off south? So I've got drive off south. So 252 house, 112 store. Okay, so this seems like actually a good path in that case, although I probably should have just blown up the farmhouse right away. I want to check out the general store in case there's something interesting there. Inside the general store, you can find a can of meat, which you greedily devour, not having eaten such a rare delicacy for a long time. Adds 2 stamina points. Well, I'm already on maximum, so that's fine. More important, you find a full canister of petrol, which is stowed inside the interceptor. So I've got then 1 canister. If you have not done so already, you may search the nearest house. So I may do that. If you would rather drive off south, turn to 353, so I can do that. So I'm going to go and search the house. You open the front door of the house and step inside. Leading off the hallway, there are 2 doors facing each other. If you wish to open the door on the left, turn to 185. The door on the right, turn to 72. So I've got 185 left. And I've got 72 right. So I'm going to go left, 185. The door opens into a room that has recently been occupied. There are unfinished cups of coffee on the table and the front wheel of a motorcycle propped up against the wall, its inner tube lying on the floor. Somebody was obviously in the process of mending a puncture. There is also a toolkit on the table, inside which you find a pair of heavy-duty wire cutters, which you decide to take with you. That sounds very useful. So wire cutters. And so that's best on the left here. So wire cutters. If you have not done so already, you may open the door to the room opposite, turn to 72, or you may leave the house, turn to 246, sorry, 46, leave, or I may go there, and I'll go the room opposite, room 72. Opening the door trips a wire which is pulled taut around the trigger of a crossbow in the far wall. The bolt is unleashed from the bow and thuds into your shoulder. Roll 1 die and deduct the number from your stamina. So stamina is now -4. I'm at 25. If you're still alive, turn to 233. So right, that is a trap. Stamina minus D6. And 233, alive, question mark, 233. After attending to your wound, you find that there is nothing apart from rubbish and broken furniture in the room. It was merely booby-trapped to deter intruders. Lose 1 luck point. That is... So one definitely shouldn't go there. So I'm going to make a red mark there saying do not turn right. If you have not done so already, you may open the door of the room opposite, or you may leave the house. Turn to 246. I'm leaving the house. If you have not done so already, you may search the general store. Turn to 112. So that is there. Otherwise, there is nothing else to do except drive off south. Turn to 353. So there we are. I'm going 353. And I'm having some tea. Right. The dirt track twists and turns through the open countryside, but at last you come to a T-junction where the dirt track is crossed by a good road. You look down it both ways, but do not see any vehicles or signs of life. If you wish to head east, turn to 61. If you wish to head west, turn to 371. So we are here, and we are turning either east or west. So let's see, 61 east. This is not a geographical map. This is just a topography map based on the connections between the different nodes. So 61 east and 371 west. Okay, I want to head west. Do I? Yeah, I'll head west. 371. You drive a long way west, passing only one junction on your right, a narrow road leading north. At last you come to a T-junction where you can turn left in order to drive south towards San Anglo. Turn to 255, okay. 255, so San Anglo. Sounds like I'm the right way. But of course there may be something I need to get there and as well. 225. The road cuts through overgrown fields, but there are no obstructions on the road. You check your mileometer to see how far you have come and see that the petrol gauge is reading empty again. If you have picked up a full fuel canister recently, turn to 197. If you have not picked one up, turn to 364. So fuel, question mark, no, 364, or yes, 197. And I have picked up one, so 197 is my page. You stop the car and get out to empty the fuel canister into the petrol tank. The canister does not hold much petrol, and you realize that you will have to be on the lookout for more if you hope to reach San Anglo. By the time you set off again, it is early evening, and you watch the setting sun through the right-hand window. Soon it will be dark, and there is a new decision to make. Will you drive off the road and sleep inside the Interceptor? So we've got find a building to spend the night inside, or drive on through the night. So we've got 4. Sleep in car. And 3, 2, 1, find building. Or 1, 4, 4, drive night. Let's put drive night, that should cover it. I think I'll sleep in the car. A bit risky if somebody tries to blow it up. But of course, if somebody tries to blow it up, I'm screwed anyway, probably. So I'll try to sleep in the car. You pull off the road and park the Interceptor behind a low wall. When you turn off the engine, you notice how deathly quiet it is and wonder if anybody heard you stop. You eat your food quickly, but wait until it is completely dark before settling down to sleep. In the morning, you wake early, feeling refreshed. At 2 stamina points. So my stamina is now back up to 27. Let's see, I'll just make a note of that. Stamina plus 2. You start up the Interceptor and are soon heading south, turn to 254. So 254. So should I 254? I'm wondering if I should just start a new page now. So if I can do like this, maybe I'll just do 254. Head south. I might still need some room down here for other options. Although I probably would do something similar again because it looks like I'm on the right track. The countryside is picturesque in the early morning light, but you're unaware of the dangers ahead. The road has been mined by country outlaws, waiting to rob anybody passing through. Roll 1 die. If you roll... Okay, so roll die. If you roll 1, 2, or 3, turn to 129. So that's 1, 2, 3, 129, 4, 5, 6, 101. So I'm rolling 1 die and I have no idea what is good now. 5, that's 101. Miraculously, you drive through the minefield without triggering off any of the mines at 1 luck point. Quite unaware of your lucky escape, you continue your journey south. Okay, so that is good. So I am up to 11 again in luck. So that is plus 1 luck. And I go to 303. So we are here. 303. 23. As the morning wears on, it becomes very hot, and the further south you travel, you notice a change in the vegetation. The overground fields turn into scrubland, and it won't be long before you are driving across desert. A few miles further down the road, you arrive at a major junction. If you wish to turn left to head east, turn to 140. If you would rather keep driving south, turn to 189. So that is 189 south or 140 east. I'm going to turn east here. You travel about 80 kilometers before the road ends at the T-junction. You decide to turn right in the direction of San Anglo. Turn to 23. Okay, so 23. San Anglo again. So I'm sort of heading in the right direction, it seems like, although I may have missed something important. Now this is where I'm going to a new page, I think. So I'm going to start at the bottom of my page now with 23 San Anglo. Okay, there we are. You approach a railway bridge that you must pass under, but do not see the laughing man on top of it. A stone pillar teeters on the edge of the parapet, held from falling by the man. As he sees you drive towards the bridge, he giggles like a child and releases the pillar. It crashes down onto the road directly in front of the interceptor. Roll 2 dice if the total is the same as or less than your skill. Turn to 137. So test skill. And if so, 3, 4. Fail is 3, 4, 2, and success is 1, 3, 7. So there we are. Of course, my skill is 12 now. I'll just roll in case just to see 9. Yeah. 137. It's nice to roll just to see if I would have done it with a lower skill as well. You swerve sharply to the left, narrowly missing the stone pillar. Turn into Sean Connery there for a moment. Narrowly missing the stone pillar. Narrowly missing the stone pillar and pass under the bridge. If you wish to stop to deal with your attacker, turn to 281. If you would rather keep driving south, turn to 150. So I've got the option now of 281, deal with attacker, or drive south 150, drive south 150, and excuse me, because I know I'm going into a desert here, but in real life, right here, right now, I'm getting a bit hot. I need to remove my sweater. There we are. Oh, that feels so much better now. Right. And I'll take a little bit of water. Right, so I'm not going to deal with that guy. I'm just going to leave him and keep going. That's what my character would do, I think. I don't think he would stop for something like that. Well, I'm quite aware I do need petrol soon, though. It is not long before the green vegetation gives way to more barren terrain, with tufts of dry grass dotted on top of the stony brown earth. You are soon at a major intersection on the edge of the desert. You stop at the crossroads and see that the road heading east is blocked with abandoned cars. If you wish to drive south into the desert, turn to 46. If you wish to turn right to head west, turn to 298. So I've got desert, 46, or 298, head west. I'm not sure. Would there be anyone in the desert where I could get petrol? I'm going to head west, actually, at this point. I'm not sure if I'm ready for the desert yet. You drive along the edge of the desert for about 80 kilometers until the road ends at the T-junction. You decide to turn left and head south into the desert towards San Anglo, turn to 271. Okay, so that is certainly the road that they want me to go, 271. San Anglo again. I'm going to run out of petrol soon, aren't I? The landscape turns to reddish-brown as you drive further into the desert. The road runs south straight as an arrow and is virtually clear of abandoned cars. Well, no wonder, why would you go in there? As you drive along, something you recognize catches your eye. It is an overturned Interceptor which must have veered off the road and rolled over after its driver died at the wheel. If you wish to stop and see if there are any spares worth taking, turn to 166. Rather keep on driving, turn to 13. So 13, keep driving. Or 166. Check. Yes, let's check. Okay, let's call it that. Let's check 166. I want to stop and have a little look and see if there's anything interesting there. Famous last words. There is one wheel in reasonable condition remaining on Interceptor. The tire is flat, but can easily be inflated again with a can of Flat You Fix. Excuse me. Okay. I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's see. Tire is flat but can easily be inflated again with a can of Flat You Fix. It does not take long to remove the wheel and store it inside your own car. So I've got spare wheels and I've got 3 spare wheels. If we to look inside the crash car, turn to 253. If you would rather continue journey south, turn to 13. So that is 253 inside. And here I've got spare wheel. Or 13. Oh, hang on, no, that's 13. 13 is there. Okay. I'll have a look inside. Famous last words again. You pull open the driver's door and reach inside to open the glove compartment. Suddenly you hear a rattling sound. I was thinking about a snake actually just now. And realize with horror that you have disturbed the nest of a rattlesnake. The snake strikes and bites your arm, emptying deadly poison into your veins. You still possess a pack of medicine from your medkit, turn to 2. If you've used up all your medkit supplies, turn to 357. So here we are. Okay, snake. Medkit, question mark. And I'll do, so if you don't have any, that's no, go to 357, or yes, go to 2. I'm going to 2. You run to your car and tear open a pack of medicine from your medkit. You inject yourself with snakebite serum and dress the wound. However, the treatment does not increase your stamina. It merely prevents the poison from killing you. Recover sometime later, but are nevertheless weakened by the ordeal. Lose 1 skill point and 2 stamina. Okay, so that is -1 skill, -2 stamina. You walk back to the overturned Interceptor and shoot the snake with vengeful glee. Let's see. Oh yeah, so just cross off my 1 med kit, and of course my skill is now 11. My stamina is 25. Inside the glove compartment, you find a few meters of coiled plastic tubing, which you decide to take with you. Hopefully that is going to be useful, because that would be a shame if that wasn't worth something. So coiled plastic tubing. With your arm still throbbing painfully, you drive off south again, turn to 13. So then we are back to 13. There we are. So I'm going to go to 13. In your rearview mirror, you see a motorbike and sidecar steadily closing up on you. The passenger is holding a machine gun mounted on the nose of the sidecar. He reminds you of early pilots with his goggles and a leather flying cap. Both men are wearing black scarves over their mouths to keep the wind-blown sand out of their lungs. Well, whoever did the illustration, they didn't read this because that's not what this looks like at all. Oh, go figure. When they are no more than 50 meters behind, they signal their intention by firing a burst from the machine gun at the interceptor, lose 1 armor point. So I'm down to 25 in armor. Will you drop a canister of iron spikes, release a spray of oil, return fire with interceptor's machine guns? So we've got 127 spikes, 361 oil, 282 fire. 82, there we are. What would work best against a motorbike, I wonder? I'll go with the oil. I'll try the oil. So I'm going to use 1 oil, presumably here. We've got 1 of our oils. 361. Let's see how that works. You press the release button, which empties the canister of oil in the thick spray over the road. The motorcycle combination runs over the oil at high speed and skids off the road. It rolls over in the sand and disappears from view as you drive away. 296, so that worked, certainly. So that is 96. The kilometers roll by and the petrol gauge is reading almost empty again. If you are carrying a full can of petrol inside the interceptor, turn to 180. If you have not acquired one recently, turn to 364. And I did spend my 1, didn't I? Let's see. So we've got petrol, question mark, and we've got 180 for yes, and 364, no. And I don't have any, so I'm going to go to 364. A few kilometers further down the road, the engine starts to cough and splutter. Finally, it jerks to a halt and your worst fears are realized. You have run out of petrol. There are no buildings and no signs of life, and you realize that the mission is over. You have failed and must try to get back to New Hope on foot. Perhaps try to reach San Anglo another time. There we are. I ran out of petrol. So somewhere along the way here, there would be a can of petrol. Did I actually make a note of where I found the can of petrol the first time? I don't think I did, actually. I probably should. And that is a dead end there. And of course, they're not as drastic as in Return to Fighter Mountain. You don't die horribly or get turned into some kind of monster or a slave being of some sort. You actually just run out of petrol and you have to walk back. You don't. So not as dramatic as all that. But it looks like I've still got quite a bit of exploring to do, and I've gone quite a bit further. This was the first place I died the first time. I just did this bit, and now I've progressed through all this bit. So it's definitely not too bad considering. And it did seem I was on the right track, but somewhere along the way here there must be another can of petrol to be found. And hopefully I will be able to find it next time so that I may keep going further. Or, yeah. Am I tricking myself now? Did I actually need another can of petrol? I'm just checking now. Because I did have one to start with. I'm a bit unsure now. I did actually have another spare can of petrol that I only used one, because I had two altogether. Didn't I find one? I did find one somewhere. Getting a bit curious now whether I... let's see, got wire cutters. Where did I get the petrol from? Anyway, I didn't make a note of it. I only got one note of using petrol. And I have made a note on my character sheet of finding petrol. Ah, yes, because I did actually use the can of petrol in the beginning, didn't I? And then it says you're supposed to go look for it. Yes, I did run out of petrol because I would have used the one I got up here. Yes. Right, so next time I will have to find more petrol. Simple as that. All you have to do to win the game is to find enough petrol. There you are. Otherwise, it didn't seem too difficult, but of course, without petrol, then it fails anyway. Right, so I hope you enjoyed watching that. I certainly enjoyed playing that, and I'm curious to see where else it will take me next time. There are some places I might need to explore that I haven't looked at yet. There must be some more petrol on the way, so... thanks for watching, and goodbye for now, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye bye.